Hey everybody, this is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play awesome tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is the first of two sessions of a game within the Star Wars Saturdays series that I've been running since December of 2017. Star Wars Saturdays is a game series that I run for the Gauntlet community. The Gauntlet community is this gigantic gathering of folks who love to play small press, indie, and OSR style tabletop RPGs together. We primarily play online. And the Star Wars Saturdays is the thing I've been running where every month I pick one, sometimes two, like this month, different RPG and RPG system. I hack it sometimes or reskin it to Star Wars, and we gather together. A whole different group of folks will get together for each game and play. And we have lots of returning players, and I have a little wiki where I try to keep track of all the stuff that's going on. But I think of it as like an anthology series, and the background timeline for all of our events have been the original trilogy of Star Wars movies, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. As of October of last year, the 2019, during Gauntlet Con, which is an amazing online con, that was the demarcation of Palpatine dying, and we are now in the like this. We're in the nebulous frontier of post Emperor Palpatine. I know, post Palpatine, the Empire is falling. We've been exploring that for a few months now, and this is the first time where we are playing legit members of the Imperial forces. I'm using a little bit of expanded universe. In particular, I don't know how many times I'm going to say particular, but I just thought I'd do it like 4 times. Zsinj is a warlord, an Imperial warlord, and we are scant months after Palpatine has died. He has quickly grown from just being a Moff to declaring himself the warlord of the Empire, saying that he is still loyal to the Empire and viciously expanding the territory for which he was assigned to govern, and you guys are part of the front lines. You are an ATST Walker crew, and we are using a reskinned version of Erica Chappelle's a newsstand press game called Hell on Treads. Hell on Treads is this really neat game that you can pick up on Drive-Thru RPG about tank warfare, primarily in World War II. I've just done a light reskin to make it a game for a scrappy ATST crew. And I now, you die-hard Star Wars fans, I apologize, because I know, we all know. We've seen the interior of an ATST at Return of the Jedi. We know there's just 2, right? We've seen that. But I figure it's a big space. Maybe there's a 3rd member there. Well, plus, I also just want to run this game with 3 players. So there we go. We have a pilot, we have a gunner, we have an assistant who's effectively like the mechanic and also the comm operator. They're like behind the door. There's a door. You didn't know it because you didn't see the seams, but trust me, friends, the ATST, little door, and there, compartment person was the assistant who can, keep the door open for ventilation because Imperial regs are not that great. They don't even like handrails. So, just shut up and do your job, right? That's the Imperial way. This game's rated PG-13, but we do have the X card in play. I've already informed the players as they were making their characters, but I want to make sure that everybody's aware that we are using safety tools here. While this war's hell, there are certain aspects of the war that we don't have to explore. We have some lines and veils. We do have a line on harm to children, genocide, and sexual assault. That means that those are not part of our story. We're not even going to refer to it. It just, doesn't happen. And then we have a veil on torture. That means that it's not going to appear on screen. It's a thing where we would fade to black, or screen wipe. We just lied that is going to happen, and we're not going to deal with the immediate bits of torture. This is war. War is hell, but it can be our own kind of defined hell in any way we wish, and that's what we have defined. I've got three amazing players who've been very polite and quiet, and so now they get to speak. I am going to lead off with Michael. If you could introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about your character, that would be fantastic.
Oh, I didn't realize that was muted. Just kidding. My name's Mike. I use he, him pronouns. I haven't played with y'all in a while, and I'm looking forward to it. Very excited. I will be playing Nephilae Dorister, but she goes by Neph, and she is the pilot of this ATST. So Neph was adopted by a decorated Clone Wars veteran. He probably had some equivalent of like a Purple Heart after the Clone Wars, and he kind of settled down and adopted a child, because I'm pretty sure clones can't. I don't know the space science of that. So we're going to go with adoption. And he was always talking about the glory days, and I remember hearing his stories growing up, and like just really became enamored with this concept. And yeah, it did switch over to the Empire versus the Republic, but I mean, what's the difference really? I still just want to serve my galaxy like my father did. And so he actually, piloted one of the ATRTs, which were like single-manned walkers that were sort of like similar to the one we have here. But I got stuck with the crew, so it's a little bit less singular of an experience.
Curious. So Neff has been she's been part of the Empire since before the fall, correct?
So I would say yes. Yeah.
Cool. Because that just happened a few months ago, right?
Right.
And do you see Neff as having served under Zsinj in this particular sector during that period of time?
That could make sense for sure. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So a little bit of information about Zsinj, very, very little. But Zsinj, no first name, no last name, just Zsinj, but it is his last name. He's the son of Madame Marisa Zsinj, who was a Moff herself, and then she declared herself like she tried to leave the Empire, and he hunted down his own mother and took her out. So that's how loyal Zsinj is, but he is very much an opportunist and, like secretly, like, he's a warlord now. He's calling himself the warlord of the Empire. But just a little info that Neff has. Thank you very much, Mike.
Sure.
Bethany, if you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character, I would appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Bethany. I've played in a few of these. Looking forward to this one because I have never played the game this is based on. And I am playing Zaid Anders, who is the gunner, who is kind of a fuck up, honestly. Like he's here because the other option was jail. I think he's from a planet that's not too far from here, and like in the same general region of space. I don't know. And I think he hasn't been here for very long, but I think it was before before the whole Battle of Endor thing. He's not quite as new as Greg's character, but I think he has not been here long enough to be completely disillusioned, and he's still sort of grateful for the chance to not go to jail.
Yeah, he could have ended up in the spice mines of Kessel. I mean,
yeah.
What did he do? Or what was he accused of?
I think it was some sort of like street gang activity. I don't know specifically like the exact infraction that got him arrested, but it was kind of like petty theft, drug dealing, assault, that kind of
he doesn't know which one of them they caught him for.
Right, exactly. He's done a lot of minor crimes, but he's not sure which one exactly got him caught.
Did he do it like because he's a member of a small street gang?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And are there any particular, like, does he stay in touch with them or try to?
No, I don't think so. I think that I think that was probably a condition of not going to jail. Like, yeah, you join the military, you do not contact any of these other people that we have lined up here, about to give them a similar option. So I think he's stuck to that.
I like it. All right, that is really fascinating. What a cool choice. Thank you very much, Bethany. And then we have our special guest for the series, Greg. Please introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Greg. He, him pronouns for me, and also for my character, Private Crayburn. Private Crayburn joined up right after the Battle of Endor. He is a fresh recruit, and he still proudly wears his Academy getup, which you have seen in Star Wars Rebels. He has passed the test where you repeatedly jump on cubes and shoot at your fellow, recruits, and has worked himself up and is so excited to be cramped in this little olive drab jump seat in the back. He knows what most of those buttons do, but not all of them. And he believes all of the Imperial propaganda. They need to quash the rebels, and Warlord Zsinj is obviously the man for the job, and it's gonna be great. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna crush some rebellion in the next, half a day, and then we're just gonna march through the streets victorious. It's gonna be lovely. Nothing can go wrong. How could they stand up to the might of the Empire?
I mean, you're not wrong. They're pretty powerful. All right. Good deal. So here is how this game works. Oh, actually, first, before we talk about how this game works, we need to figure out our ATST Walker. This ATST Walker has been Neff's for a while. And Zaid, you have been the gunner for a few months. It's a thing where you've gotten to know this. I don't know if you're going to gender your walker as a him or her. It's kind of Star Wars canon that you throw a gender on droids, so I don't know if you're going to gender your walker. I don't care. But your walker needs to have a name. And then we'll start with Neff, because Neff has been the pilot and part of this walker for the longest period. So you will come up with a feature, Michael, for the walker. And then next we'll go with Bethany with a feature, because you're the next most experienced. And then our fresh-faced, naive Private Crayburn will come up with a feature that he is most impressed by vis-a-vis our walker. So Neff, as I now transition to using your character names, what is a feature of your walker that makes her stand out?
So does this have to be piloting related, or can be anything?
It does not have to be piloting. It can be anything related. I will tell you, though, that in the game, if a feature of your walker is a thing that we're like, oh, you know what? The fact that we have X means that we should be good at this. That will change your difficulty for die rolls. So anything you want, but if you want to be selfish and make it a thing that'll make you more badass, totally go ahead.
So part of the reason why we have a slightly newer gunner, I think that this walker sustained some pretty bad damage to the starboard, is at the left side of the cockpit, and basically killed the previous gunner. But the feature is that they had to replace the twin light laser cannon. So I think that the new model has more range. I think it can almost not just turn on this axis, but it can kind of turn that way as well. So it's harder to flank on the starboard side because it can actually turn perpendicular to the.
Okay, cool. Walker. So just to make sure,
so kind of like a turn into the spaceship, right?
Yeah, like you have an increased firing arc on this. So you basically can't. It's going to be real hard to get around the starboard side. Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's got a slightly different colored like plate armor plating on where that one eye was. So no pressure there, Zaid.
That's cool. I really like that feature. Nice work. So then next we will talk to Zaid. What is a feature of this walker that Zaid has noticed or relies upon? And I do have a table, a D66 table. So if you're like, I don't know, I can't think of anything, just roll 2D6 and look off the table.
I'm looking at that table already.
Isn't it? It's cool.
It is a good table. It has some fun options here, and I'm gonna say the most fun option. It's amphibious. This was like some weird experimental modified one that they only made a few of before they gave up and like, nah, we don't need that. But there's this one that's still in operation, so we're using it, and it can, well, until they replace that armor plating, it could be sealed up and like it could actually go underwater with it. Now, maybe, we don't know. It can walk in the water, but whether or not we'll drown in the process is up in the air still.
Nice. So she's basically vac sealed airtight?
Theoretically.
Nice. And then our newbie, Private Crayburn. What is a feature that you have noticed about this walker that is a little out of spec and makes it even more amazing?
I think part of that amphibious revision that was done onto our walker was that it also there was a where the might of the Empire has always been conveyed to others through the mighty sound of our steps as we crush the Duracrete below us, and that sound of the somebody wisely at the design bureau went, maybe that's not always the best idea, and we have a silent running servo setting so that we can be a stealth ATST and actually be kind of a scout, instead of just scurrying the locals away in front of us. We can actually appear through the trees without making a whole ton of noise. I don't think we're completely silent, but we're a lot better off. And I think that's this button, but it might be this button. That one's blinking and it's red and I'm not sure.
That's awesome. And now, this is the hardest part, friends, I know. Luckily, someone in chat has been helping you come up with some ideas for the name of your walker, but your walker needs a name. Injection seeds. So Gorth is kind of amazing.
I had to look up what the name of the space worm is from Empire Strikes Back, and it's an Exogorth.
Really? That's so cool. I wish there was a D66 tank name, but I don't think there was one. By the way, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I like Drunk Wookiee in the sense that, like, the way that they walk is sort of like a little drunken, I guess. I also like Black 2 is like that sort of like, brought back from the dead that this machine has been. Those are some cool ideas. What do you think, Bethany?
How much of a sense of irony does Neff have?
Big old sense of irony.
Okay,
huge.
So it's probably not going to be something just really blatantly simple. It's not going to be Fury.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Drunk Wookiee does kind of fit. Although if there's like another species that would be from Neff's home planet that would work better. I don't know.
Some kind of animal or something, maybe?
Yeah.
We got Tauntauns and Dewbacks. Those are classics.
Drunk Tauntaun is
Drunk
funny.
Tauntaun.
I like Drunk Tauntaun.
They
I
walk
think
on
that-
two legs, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there we go, the Tauntaun.
and we'll just call her the old drunk sometimes.
That's great. Good work. I know it always makes people nervous, like, oh man, names are hard, but working collaboratively together, we have come up with a really cool one. Awesome. So now we will talk about how the game works. This game works in a collaborative fashion. I am considered a player, but I am serve the role of GM. But so whenever it says the total number of players, I count as one of them. In this game, I will set forth a mission. You guys will go out on that mission, but before you head out on that mission, each of you are obligated to come up with a potential obstacle. I can give you a list of obstacles. I also, unfortunately, I will, by next time we play, I will copy one over. But there's even an obstacle generator. So I can just screen share and show it to you, and you can roll on it if you're having trouble. The obstacle is a thing that you don't have to describe in detail because you don't know when it's going to show up. I, as the commander, will narrate where you're going, and then I will introduce those obstacles. You will need to overcome each obstacle to progress forward. Once you have overtaken all of the obstacles, including my secret obstacle, then you will have successfully completed the mission. Each obstacle will have an intensity, which is how bad it can be for your walker and you as the fragile crew inside, and a persistence, which is how much of a challenge it is to defeat that obstacle. So let me read quickly from the Hell on Legs version of Hell on Treads about obstacles, because I want to make sure you guys are comfy with it. These are the things which along the way will attempt to prevent the walker from accomplishing the mission. Excuse me. Each player, including the commander, contributes to one obstacle. There are manifestations of things that the crew fears on the mission. Though the enemy action is an obvious candidate for obstacles, it is by no means the only one. Anything that taxes the crew or vehicle qualifies. Obstacles can be as specific or vague as a player chooses. Some good obstacles include crossing enemy lines, being forced to disembark, a mine in the road, refugees approaching the walker, ambushes by snipers and anti-walker weapons, supply shortages, and bad weather. Because you're in a walker, a ton of mud can be a problem. A big chuck hole could take you down. That's canon, friends. That's canon. Logs. Walking on them coming at you, also could be very bad for you. Didn't take all terrain. So anyway, those are things that I mostly just wanted to make some ATST jokes because I can. Your first mission. I will lay out the mission to hopefully make it easier for you guys to do that, but I'm not going to do it right away because we're going to do some role playing first. Not a whole lot of mechanics for this, friends, but we get to get a taste of you guys outside of the walker. We will start off with all of you. You're currently on the planet known as I had it and then I switched things. You're currently on Lavasar. Lavasar is a planet in the Strabon sector. It was once part of a larger high gravity world. It's a medium-sized world of reddish brown rock with an abundance of heavy metal ores and a few dark seas and abundant mining and refining industries. The waters here are dark because of the mineral content. When you guys drink here, you have particular cups that you have been given, effectively tumblers that have filtration units on them. You do not drink the water directly. You do not bend down and drink the water. It could cause sediment problems and issues. So you guys are currently in a a kind of a prefabricated base that was brought by a Star Destroyer and effectively drop shipped down. This is the place where you are quartered, where your ATST walker can be maintenance can be performed on it undercover. And you also, this is the place where some of the local Lavasarians also work, including Zizzy Fitsix. Zizzy is a Lavasan mechanic who works in the motor pool on base. She frequently makes trips to the main port city known as Syward. And she does that usually riding on the scout bike or the swoop bike. Not swoop, it's actually a speeder bike. Private Kel Guri will ferry her back and forth those places, and occasionally Kel will bring back like a grav pad of supplies and the like. But Zizzy's the person that can get you guys parts fabricated that can't be done here on base. The commander of the ground forces here is known as Orson Motti. He is a pretty duplicitous guy. He never wants to be blamed for any failures, so he often will blame it upon his underlings. It's the Imperial way. This is not a shocker, except maybe to Private Crayburn. He does have a slave, because in the Empire it's legal, named Tracina, who is a Chev. The Chev are a near-human species that can be identified, even though they look very human, that they have membranes over their eyes rather than lids. So they have effectively lidless eyes, which makes them look really weird. And of course, a lot of the Imperials will make jokes about that because speciesism is a thing in the Empire and all of you are humans. So you deal with that however you wish. So there are just a few characters that I throw out. I've got some also listed, the NPCs. Sergeant Halcyon is a squad commander in the 511th. Halcyon is very much into the Empire. I think seeing Crayburn in the Academy stuff gets a big thumbs up from Sergeant Halcyon. You've got a few others. So I'm curious, as we come in, you guys have quarters here. I would imagine that Neff, you've probably personalized your bunk, and you've got your footlocker. That's the word that Rich was looking for. Are you a top or bottom bunk kind of person, Neff?
Definitely top bunk.
Nice. So what's a thing that you've done? So you have top bunks, you've got the ceiling. Is there anything you've done to the ceiling to personalize the space?
Yeah, I think I have a galactic star map that I've rolled out, and I've got I've put little dots for every planet I've been to. It's only 4 or 5 right now, but I have a dream of just trying to fill out my star map.
Nice. That's really cool. And so I will ask Zaid, did you choose to bunk underneath Neff, or do you have your own upper bunk nearby?
I'm in a lower bunk because you can get up and have your feet directly on the floor right away. You don't have that awkward climbing down thing.
It's logical. What in your footlocker do you have, Zaid, that you kept from home? Maybe a thing that you shouldn't have kept, but it's a thing you've got in your footlocker.
It's a it's a tool. It's it's basically a Star Wars multi-tool. It's got a wrench and a knife and a bunch of other things on it.
Nice.
I don't even know how to use half of it. But like my girlfriend gave it to me, so I don't know. I don't think she knew how to use it either, but she thought it would come in handy. So
Oh,
I kept it.
nice. So she like saw you off, right? Like she
Yeah.
knows that you're out here in the Empire. Nice, nice, nice. I like that a lot. Cool. You know, at some point, I think you're gonna have to name that girlfriend. So
Yeah. I'll have to pull up the random name generator.
hold on. Let me share one with you that I like quite a bit.
Perfect.
Bam. There you go.
Oh, that's a
Awesome.
good one. I haven't tried that one.
Yeah. Generate 100 names, and you can select gender type. There are only two. There's neuter. There's a nice thing, but anyway,
That's not it.
Private Crayburn. What did you bring with you from the academy that you have in your locker? And of course, it's approved, but it's not something that anybody else has.
That's a good question. My thought is at first it's a training blaster, so it doesn't actually do any damage. It's more like a laser tag thing.
Oh, does it work kind of like the little training droid thing that
Yeah,
lived where it just stings just a teeny bit?
Yeah, it stings. It's inconvenient. But as the assistant is somewhat supposed to be a mechanic, I'm trying to modify it slightly, so that it will at least shoot a whole lot faster. Because I think that might be useful in certain circumstances, as like a deterrent, maybe. So maybe he's field modifying it, but he's also looking for his bunk because let's see which one of the NPCs. Oh yes, Corporal Duke Sarlin,
Yes.
who gives 0 carks. Thinks it's fun to haze the new privates by telling them that they're on the 3rd bunk. And so Private Crayburn has been looking through the barracks, trying to find this 3rd level bunk, and is carrying around his training blaster still.
Awesome.
Hasn't been issued the official E11 yet.
Oh, that's so good. So good. So we start off with Private Crayburn with stuff like blankets, and your gear and your giant duffel over your shoulder and your training stinger pistol. And Duke comes up and puts an arm around you. Even though he doesn't look like he's been on a mission, he still has just like a little bit of mud underneath his cuticles. Like he just doesn't wash himself a whole lot. He's got his chin strap, he's got his chin strap protector, which is his beard. It's a 5 o'clock shadow. And he puts an arm around you and he goes, "Hey, Private, have you found the 3rd bunk yet?"
I've been looking for a while, Corporal.
Oh, man, I can't believe you haven't found it yet. You are really not good at orientation. I'm glad that you're not assigned as a pilot for the Tauntaun, because she would be going in circles, right?
Yeah, you're right. I need to find it right away, Corporal. Corporal, could I ask you something?
Well, you kind of already did, kid. Go ahead. I'm like the welcoming committee here.
Okay. Are you aware of Imperial Regulation 627-B?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
Special
all of us are
dispensation.
supposed to be to the highest of hygiene standards before battle to avoid infection.
Oh, that's true. Yep, you got a good point there. Yeah, good luck finding the third bunk there, big guy.
Okay.
Nice. And he just laughs and rubs his scraggly chin. And Neff, you see that Crayburn's walking around. Zaid, you know that Private Crayburn has been assigned to your crew to replace your last assistant. What happened to your last assistant, Zaid? Did they wash out? Did they die?
They just
Are they
vanished.
sick? They vanished.
Yeah, they just took off.
AWOL? Okay.
Maybe.
Nice.
That's what we all think, but like, who knows? We just don't know where they went.
Okay. How long have you been? Has the Tauntaun been rolling without an assistant?
Month or so.
Okay, month or so. Yeah, you guys have been working just fine. I mean, really, crew.
Yeah, I mean, the assistant is we're just like training them to, either replace one of us when we die or, work on another one.
I mean, you're not wrong. That's exactly what that's what can happen. So you see Private Crayburn, mostly because of the laughter of Corporal Duke, and he's having some trouble moving around, meandering. How do you handle that? Man, he looks like he doesn't have to shave himself like at all. He looks so young.
I think I just turn back over on my bunk and have like my hollow reader. And, some things you just got to learn the hard way. If everybody hands it to you, then you're going to be soft. That's what my dad always taught me. That's why he left me in the woods for a fortnight. And look where I am today.
Nice. So Neff's gonna let him struggle. Zaid, you gonna leave it be?
I think I wait for him to do another loop and then yell, "Hey, new kid."
Hi. Yes, I'm looking for bunk 7-3. This is bunk 7, but there's only -1 and 2.
Yeah, that Duke. So there's no other bunk 7, right?
Right.
You think he might be messing with you?
Well, but that would be against regulations.
It's 7-2. Trust me on this.
Oh, thanks. I'm Private Crayburn. And puts out his still gloved hand because ready to deploy at any moment.
Yeah. Welcome, Private. Which is that a toy gun you got there?
Well, I haven't been issued my official E11 yet. So I'm well aware this is against regulations, but I did bring my training blaster because I figured being unarmed would be even worse.
I mean, I guess you're right. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be unarmed. I guess it's better than nothing.
I'm also I'm assigned to Walker 49er72. Do you know
what?
49er72?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! You really are a cut up kid.
Well, do you know? I know that they all have names, but the sheet only says, my data pad only says.
Let me see that. Kark. He's with us, Zaid.
Yeah, they had to do it sooner or later, right?
I could take care of her just fine. Don't know why they keep giving us assistance. It's not like they're any use anyway. Look at the last one.
But oh, hi. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were my crew. I am honored to serve aboard the 4972. I have been trained in on an ATST-T trainer revision model 737. and I am looking forward to serving the Empire.
That seems about as helpful as your blaster there, kid.
Oh,
You know what they say, you can read a 100-page manual on how to swim, but don't make a lick of difference till they throw you in the pond. So let's just say good luck. Yeah, you know what? I've got an even better simulation for you. I got an idea.
oh,
Give you a chance to maybe stick it to old Duke. You know, we have a little competition around here. We call it chicken walking. So if anybody ever comes up to me and says, "Neff, I'm a better pilot than you," well, I don't want to, put a strain on Imperial resources. That'd be against regulation to bring out our full walkers and have a duel. But you might just be a good enough walker for me. So I think I'm like sitting on my top bunk, right? And I'm like, come over here real quick. Come stand by the bunk.
okay.
Now turn around real quick. Back towards the bunk.
Okay.
And I want to swing my legs over onto your shoulders and like hop off the bunk and basically be riding on your shoulders. Is that okay?
Yes. So we're gonna do a chicken fight.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So we're like having to like kind of like bend our heads a bit, not to hit our heads on the base. I'm like, "Hey, Duke."
Oh man, Duke is sharing a death stick just outside with a couple of other members of the troops. Duke is not he doesn't pilot a walker. He looks in and he just busts up and he goes, "Wow, you found your crew. Good work, Crayburn. It's about right for you. Good size. What's up, Neff?"
Heard you were messing with my crewmate.
Oh yeah. I was he's gonna write me up for a reg.
Well, I think we ought to settle this up, without having to go to those measures, right?
Okay. Pex. And he calls over and there's a big burly guy. He's from some outer rim ag planet. He comes over. He's kind of big, thick eyebrows, and he says, "Yeah, this is you're my chicken walker." And we cut to like a bunch of troopers kind of gathered around in a circle outside of the main the main base area where your racks are all the big hut where you guys were all stationed. And there's a bunch of Imperial troops who are all watching this. There's a few stormtroopers that are just kind of ignoring all this going on. And Zaid, who is it that wins this? Is it big old Pex with Duke on top, or does Neff find some way to wrestle Duke down and take vengeance for all the mocking?
I think what happens is that Crayburn doesn't really know, has never done this before, so he kind of gets off balance a bit, but Neff is expecting that and just like kind of launches herself from him onto the other guy's back. They're both like hanging from the same person now.
Nice. And then Neff, how do things finish off? How do you? finish off this big fight here?
Well, I think we're kind of locked into a bit of a stalemate. Like we're both like like Pax is down there, like he's got like legs like tree trunks, but he's still like struggling to hold up two people who are wrestling. And me and Duke, we're kind of getting each other like in holds, and like we're not really punching each other, but like pushing hard elbows into each other. So the only kind of like X factor left is Crayburn standing there now. Like I'm kind of curious what he does.
And I think this is when Private Crayburn just sweeps Peck's legs. I think Peck's is he realizes that Neff has sort of the upper hand here and will take a lot less of the fall. If she's on top, she'll have the two below her to cushion her, and just sweeps one of Peck's legs as he takes a step, and it doesn't go where he wants, and he kind of slips out. And then he waves his hand. Yes!
And all the
new guy knows physics.
That's a good thing for an assistant to know. Yeah, so the troops all let out a roar, and there are a bunch of backslaps for Crayburn, and somebody messes your hair. And it's a good old bit. You guys finish up. There's some creds that swap. Some people were betting on this, but there's some credits swapped. You even see a few Imperial flan, or calamari flan are handed over. Those are rare. And as you guys are finishing up all the congratulations, you see that Sergeant Halcyon, with his like totally dope looking poncho-y half poncho thing. That picture's amazing, right? Love that guy. He's waiting for you guys. He let this, he's not going to break it up or whatever. It's just troopers being troopers, but he's waiting for you guys, and he'll step up to you, Neff, because you're the highest ranking member. By the way, none of you are officers. You can choose, if you want to be a sergeant, corporal. We've already got Crayburn as a private, but none of you are officers. That's for pilots. But Halcyon steps up, says, Neff, Leandra wants to see you. She's got a mission for you guys. You can bring your crew if you want.
So I'll like pull Duke up and like give him like a little light tap on the cheek, like next time, buddy. And I'll grab Crayburn's shoulder and motion to Zade and say, "You got it." Yes, sir.
Cool. And then Crayburn, as you start to walk off, you feel someone grab your shoulder, spin you around. It's Corporal Duke Sarlin. And he looks at you, and it looks like he's mad for a minute. And then he holds out his hand. Good job, Crayburn. You aren't that stupid.
I'll just shake his hand.
Nice.
Point to him as I'm walking away.
He's smiling. He's got a little bit of blood over his teeth from when he hit the ground hard, but he's not giving a flying cark about that. Cool. So, Neff, did you bring the rest of the crew with you for this one? Or are you just going to grab the mission details on your own?
Oh, so yeah, what's protocol for that?
I think it's kind of a mix. Like some crew chiefs prefer to get the mission themselves in case they need to sugarcoat the terribleness that you have to do. Some of them want everybody to know what they're in on or in for.
I think I would tell Crayburn maybe to go get the walker ready and primed.
Oh yeah,
because we're
go get her fueled up, prepped, and do it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I think I'd bring Zade with me.
Cool.
If you'd like to come.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Zade, tell me, is there anything out of regs that has been done to the exterior of the Tauntaun? Like in the movie Fury was literally like spray painted onto the barrel. Is there anything like that for the Tauntaun? Or is there something because she's like sleek and what? I'm sorry, because she's got that silence mode and all that stuff that you guys haven't messed with her exterior.
Silas painted something on it, but somebody painted it over because like last time they worked on it, they painted it over. You can kind of still see, well, you can see the new paint.
Nice. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can see the new paint. All right, so Craven, you're sent off to get her fueled up and get the Tauntaun ready. And Neff and Zaid, the two of you head to the office. I mean, it actually has a holonet projector. This is where your kind of your ground, your staff sergeant gives out missions to the Walker crew's staff sergeant Leandra Therinos. Her helmet is off and just sitting on a little desk, and you see that she's got a couple of scars on her cheek. Her hair is buzz cut. She's as tough as they come. Leandra is somebody, Neff, that I think your adopted father would be real impressed with. She has a little bit of salty language. She does not want to be saluted. So the moment that Craven tries to salute her, she's going to rap off at him. But she's saying, Neff, Zaid, listen, you guys got a mission. We have located an ore mine just south of Cyward. Skyrung has some security forces there. We're going to be sending the 511th that way, but we want you to go in and soften them up so the 511th doesn't have to deal with anything too heavy. All right? Cool. And she hands you a data crystal. She goes, this has got telemetry. It's got some of the readouts on the ore. It's a little out of date. This is what was in the Imperial regs from about 3 cycles ago. So there could be some updates, upgrades, and that kind of stuff, but it should be enough for you guys to start with. Remember that if you need to call in air support, your angel's Lieutenant Diggs. So she's on another mission right now. So response time will be limited, but she's there if you've got to pull the ripcord.
So is this mine? Is it a newly discovered vein? Is it a rebel outfit? What kind of intel do we have on it?
Mine's been around for about 10 years. It hasn't run dry. There's a lot of ore, but the concern is that we've seen some movement in and out, and so just there to make sure. We do know that this is under Skyrung Security Forces purview. They have maintained it as one of their facilities. And Skyrung hasn't exactly agreed to Zsinj's proposal to hand over the manufacturing to the Empire.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is not acceptable.
That's right.
These Skyrung folks are pretty straightforward, classic formations, things like that. Think we'd be in for any surprises?
If you have any surprises, that means there are some new factors in play. My expectation is you're going to deal with some turrets that will have some high ordnance. So you want to sight those in from a distance. There are probably going to be some ground troops, but that shouldn't be any problems for you guys.
You got it, Sergeant.
So as you head back, Craven, you are getting her fueled up. I'm imagining it's one of those like you slide the hose in and kind of lock it and have to flip over a few dials and toggles and the like. So now we're going to slide out of role playing and do the talk of the actual mechanics. Your mission, and I'll go ahead and place it in here, is to secure southern ore mine. And so you've got I said objective. Those are supposed to be obstacles. Sorry. So you guys will each come up with an obstacle. You can just speak purely out of character. and say this is a thing I'm interested in, or if you want to seed it in and say this is a thing that your character is worried about as you guys mount up and start to head out of the base. Either way is fine with me. We'll start with Private Crayburn because you're the lowest rank. You guys don't have to top each other. Again, reminder that the obstacle can be anything from ambushes by snipers to supply shortages, bad weather, minefields, all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to go with minefields. I think that it's a logical thing for the miners to use some of their mining charges as a defensive mechanism.
Cool. I like it. And then Zaid.
So there's a native animal. It's, it's what we'd see as a pterodactyl.
Oh, snap.
They really don't like that, they get territorial, and they don't like our walkers for some reason. Either it's a noise they make or they smell funny. I don't know, but they can't really do a whole lot of damage, but they can knock us sideways. And they can cling to it and, like cut down visibility.
So are you imagining they're like 6 foot wingspan kind of things, or
bigger than that? Like, now that I'm thinking about how big his.
Could they carry like a human off into the sky?
Yeah, they could carry a human, but they can't carry our walker.
Right.
That's amazing. I love it. And then Neff, what is the obstacle that you are concerned about?
So, definitely ambush with heavy ordnance is what I'm afraid of, because I still haven't gotten over that incident with our last gunner, and I think that's something that still kind of haunts me a bit. So that's the thing I'm always like scanning the horizon for.
I like it. Cool. And then I have my secret. I have my secret one. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, awesome. And so we begin, you guys. Mount up. Zaid and Neff, you guys are in the pilot and gunner seats. She's clean. The drunk Tauntaun is ready to go. Servos are nice. She's quiet. So while you do the thump, 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 and from the servos, it's not incredibly loud. It's a pretty calm ride. You guys are able to kind of open up the main flaps there, increase your visibility. You've got that hatch at the top, right? But then there's a hatch beneath in case you wanted to drop out of the bottom. The assistance cage, I think maybe be the term we'll call it. The assistance cage is the little compartment in the back. The what?
I want to be in a cage.
The assistance seat, the catbird seat there. You've got comms up, and you guys are moving along. The Tauntaun, you guys are able to kick up a few clicks an hour, and she's at a nice run, kind of a jog. It's like the Tauntaun, you don't want to go into a full-out sprint. She's just not made for that. But as you guys are moving across, you see that there is this so the weather, rain has started up, clouds are rolling across dark clouds, and it's starting to rain. So it's louder outside than it is inside. It's starting to, you can hear that ting, 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 like on a metal tin roof, or rough, or roof if you're in Canada. I don't know. All those apply. Thing on top of house. So it's starting to get a little bit on the loud side. You guys have headphones on, so it's not bothering you over much. But you get a twitchy feeling, Neff, as you guys pass by a small little ravine. There's a long stretch before you get to the mine itself. You guys do have the telemetry. You've already shared the data crystal. You know that you're a few clicks away, but the light scrub that's here and the few trees, everything's cleared, and there's no road along this way for you to migrate, but you're starting to get an odd feeling. This is not an area that you guys have traversed before, and there is no scouting details on it. What do you do?
So I think that by this point, the combination of the distance and the rain, there's a sort of rhythm you get into when you're sitting in the chair, and you almost kind of forget that you're like being rocked, like being in a cabin in a boat, you know. Um, but then you feel like one foot like stop, like not step down all the way, and there's that feeling where like when you're like laying in a bed after you've been in a boat or on the beach, and like your body still feels like it's rocking even though you're not moving. So maybe even like move forward even though there's no like centrifugal force, like just expecting the rocking motion. And I just say, oh, I don't like this. No, not one bit. Oh, there's something going on here. And I think like that foot like goes back one pace, and I'm just like, so who's in control of the head? Does the head even move? Is there a neck?
Yes, the neck will swivel side to side. That's absolutely a thing you can do. I think maybe even just for coolness, like it can kind of tilt up so you can go against aerial targets with your main gun.
Is
so
this
just think of it as like moving like a
though?
neck. I'm sorry.
I'm guessing the gunner's got the neck though, right?
Yeah, that works.
Zay, do you see anything? I've got a bad feeling.
And swivel about as far to either side as I can and looking around.
All right, so let's move to our very first roll. So each of you started with 8 mission dice. You can at any time introduce a complication of your own volition. That's just it's a thing that will be a hindrance to you that I'll use in narration. What that complication does is it automatically gives you one more die. You can spin. You basically can take up any amount of these dice that you want, and if you are using an aspect of the walker that is one of the 3 features, then your target number will be a 3, 4, or 5. You're rolling 6-sided dice. If I say that a complication is affecting your die roll, then your success is a 5 or a 6. The default is a 4 or better, so 50-50 shot. And so right now you're going to be affecting the persistence of trying to perceive what's going on outside. So Zaid, how many dice do you want to roll?
So how do I lose these dice?
Great question. So you lose the dice, and I want to make sure every dice that does not roll a success is discarded from the player's pool of dice.
Okay. Cool. I'll roll 2.
Okay, cool. All right, go ahead and roll 2d6. What color will the dice be that you use?
That's a good question. They're gonna be blue.
Okay.
And I got 1 success.
1 success. All right. So now you're down to 7 mission dice. Yep. And the persistence of this minefield goes down from 5 to 4. And so that is what you perceive as you scan across. You find that this is a newly constructed minefield. The primary thing that kind of piques your interest or tips it is that it looks like they've recently, like the miners have dropped a bunch of new mud on this thing. There's new peat. You actually see where they've kind of dropped in and formed some stuff together to try to hide the mines.
If it had been raining for even another couple hours, we might not have seen that. Good catch, Sage.
Yeah.
Do we have any sensors that we can pull out here, Crayburn? Give us an idea.
Yeah, I think Crayburn has like craned his neck around, like is uncomfortably in the middle of the console, looking out. And, you mean people put bombs underneath the ground to prevent us from getting there?
They didn't tell you about that?
All right. And Craven goes back and he starts messing with some of the dials, and he's trying to like locate a frequency that these might be, that there might be like remote detonators on. So if he can like send out some sort of broadcast and blow up a few of these,
I like it.
It might cut a path for us.
All right, grab some dice and roll. So let's see. Are we using any feature?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So you're looking for 4s or better.
Okay. I'm gonna throw 3 at this. All right. Mine are going to be yellow. That's 1 success.
All right.
So I lose 2.
Oof! Ouch! 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 Cool. All right. So with 1 success, you are able to chart out a course that does knock down the persistence of the thing, and you're able to kind of ping, and you draw a little bit of a lattice work map. It's still going to be difficult for your pilot to navigate this, so it's really in Neff's court now.
So you did you remote detonate some of these also?
Oh yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I was going for that, but maybe all I was able to achieve was a kind of proximity map around us of a bunch of dots. And I like lean over and bring it up on your HUD. See, we should be able to get through just fine.
What do you think, Commander? Did we get a full explosion or just echo?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, Commander. I heard a different name. I think you blew up a couple of the mines. I think that works. I like that and it will give you an idea of a little bit of a pattern.
Right.
You need to follow.
Holy Krong, Grayburn, what did you do?
Well, I figured that they were probably using this more common comlink interface, so I sent out a ping, and it seems to have gotten a few of them. I have some location on some more, but
well, if they didn't know we were here before, they know now. At least we aren't losing any shins today. Well, I guess we got to haul shebs. So I'm gonna try to kind of gallop through and zigzag through these mines and
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Put her through the paces. I think it'd be fun to use 3 dice for that. Yeah.
All right, go for it.
I need a color. I'm gonna go with khaki. Khakis.
I can't believe they don't have camouflage on here. Gosh, doesn't feel military enough to me.
Yeah, so that's 2 successes, 1 is miss.
Sweet. All right, so you make your way through most of the minefield, past the places that Crayburn has set off. Sorry, just trying to reconcile this in my head, right? So I had a persistence of 5. The intensity of this is a 2, which means that it could do harm to you guys. You've gotten at least 1 success. Well, no, I had to be an intensity of 1 because you guys only had 1 success and I didn't do anything to you for it. So then you're at a persistence of 1. You're nearly through the minefield. At this point, starting to feel pretty confident, and all we need is for someone to push on and take care of those last few mines. Is that a thing where we want Neff to continue piloting, or is that something that Zaid or Crayburn are going to do?
I mean, they know we're here, and we can kind of see the soil, and I'm just going to shoot them.
Nice. Cool. So go ahead and unload. You are using the replaced gun? Why not, right?
Yeah. It's brand new. I got to try it out. I've been looking for an excuse to use this thing.
All right, so now you get a success on 3 through 6. How many dice do you want to commit to this?
3 through 6. I go with 2 again.
Okay, cool. All right.
5 and a 3.
5 and a 3, 2 successes. You get both of those back. You take out several mines that explode up. I don't know why, but I'm like imagining a thing like you throw mud like straight up in the air,
Yeah.
and
Like you can hear the mud raining down on us.
oh, that's cool. That's cool. Awesome. You guys move through this area of the minefield. You have successfully completed your first obstacle. And that means that you each get 1 die back, 1 die of success.
Hey.
So congratulations. And so I'm going to do this thing and this over here. Nope. Didn't want to do that. Sorry. I'm just trying to create myself a little calculator. I'm trying to see if I go by the rules, how the challenges work out. So the drunk tauntaun continues on, and we will take our first break. So it is 43 after. Let's take like a 7-minute break. We'll meet back at 10 till or so. See you guys in a bit.
I didn't realize that this is the same author as Blackout.
Yeah, Erica has a number of World War II themed RPGs up on Drive-Thru.
Yeah, I pulled up the Drive-Thru RPG thing, and it's there's some real good stuff on there. Okay.
Holy crap!
I've also
Trilema
switched
Adventure.
headphones so I don't have things sticking into my eardrums.
Nice. Oh, Trilema Adventures Compendium is the deal of the day today. Wow, that was on Kickstarter like last year.
It's a gorgeous book.
Yeah, it is. I've always loved the Trilema 1-page, 2-page, whatever, short. He has such a great eye, Michael Prescott, such a great eye for stuff. He was a guest on the Dr. Tom show back in the day. Dr. Tom has good taste.
You know, I see there's Patrol, which I'm a little sad there's not actually a print-on-demand version of.
So, how long ago did you start venturing into post Palpatine?
And the demarcation was Gauntlet Con, so October. We ran a session or a series of The Veil on Coruscant as the Empire's falling. Like the inciting incident for the series was the party that happens at the end of Return of the Jedi. Like everything started from there. They even had a couple of like news reports, and the point where I don't know if you remember this like 2-second thing at the end of the expanded or the re-release one where the statue of Palpatine is knocked over. That like was a news story that happened in the middle of some of their craziness that was going on. That thing played in that series. I was worried about like, will Veil fit into Star Wars? It's really a matter of choosing the right playbooks and then just kind of cautioning folks, hey, this may not feel 100% Star Wars-y at points. Let's just shave off the rough edges. But it felt great. It was a really good story.
So one thing I've heard about the Veil is that it has a tendency to have like the 4 characters kind of pursuing their own.
Oh yeah.
Was that still present with your game?
No, because I
Not that
kind
that's
of
necessarily a
kept
bad thing,
slamming. No, it's not a bad thing, but it is a weird thing. They're very almost solipsistic in a way, the different playbooks that I found in other sessions. But I tried really hard early on to like crossover and tie, and I had NPCs that would have triangles with people to kind of nudge them and urge them towards, and then I unified the threat to one playbook that's like built in as a threat to another to Bethany's character, really. And so they both had the same, like a common enemy. And that really helped to make it make sense for folks to buddy up and run around together. Mm-hmm. And the players were just awesome. So it worked really well. And then this past month in January, I ran a hack of Dogs in the Vineyard.
Yes.
That went real well. And the setup for that was that after Palpatine's dead, this Jedi Master who we kind of made up together decided to set up a fledgling temple on Rhodia, the Rhodians. And this was the first class that he felt comfortable letting them go out. And so instead of it just being go on a circuit like Dogs in the Vineyard, I tried to make it a little more like a little bit more of a mission or purposeful thrust. There are people that either he has found out about or has felt in dreams who are sensitive to the Force. Go and find them and bring them back here was the general idea behind those sessions, and they went really well.
Go, my X-Men.
Yes, it was super that. It was so that it hurt, but it was fun. I ended up having to cancel a session, unfortunately, but we got through 2 towns, and it was pretty great. The last town was hey, I've heard there's a Jedi in this place, and they show up, and there's a guy who's openly calling himself a Jedi, but he was not a very nice Jedi. And,
Very cool.
It got crazy. So those are the games that I've had so far post fall of Palpatine. And the second half of this month will be Extinction, which is kind of Aliens, the RPG, without any license, all the serial numbers filed off. And that's going to be some like Imperial troopers going onto a planet, and bad things are there, but they're trying to help out a colony. And then Apocalypse World Burned Over is going to be set on Dathomir, which, if you take a look at the map that I've shared of Zsinj's Empire is like all around Dathomir. So what you're doing here, some of these characters will likely show up in the Apocalypse World Burned Over, whoever survives.
That is a really cool setting for that.
Thanks. I actually got that from asking around on the Slack. I was like, I've done Tatooine a lot, and I love Tatooine, but I wanted to do a new look. And someone was like, how about Dathomir? And I'm like, that's a winner.
Yeah.
Especially after I searched and found a couple pictures of Dathomir, and it's just terrifying. What a hellscape.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's a sad place. It's filled with mostly dead people.
Open Your Brain would probably have a lot of good applications.
A lot of Night Sisters hanging out in the psychic maelstrom there, I think. It is. I'm gonna hold up my brain.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Sorry for the brief commercial for my own stuff. Let's jump back in. You guys have successfully passed the minefield. The rain has not let up. In fact, it's gotten a little bit worse. The mine itself is located in it's kind of at the foothills of a large mountain, and you guys are coming closer to that. You're about a click away. And that is when, Private Crayburn, your sensors go off that there are things in the air. They're quite large, large enough to carry off a person, in fact. And you see that there are several of them. There are rock dragons, because they're crate dragons in Star Wars. So why can't we have rock dragons? Their intensity is 2, and their persistence is a 3, because if they get hit hard enough, they're gonna fly away. They're not gonna stick around a whole lot of times.
So I think at first, I'm gonna introduce a complication here. I think at first Private Crayburn doesn't really realize that these are showing up on the little scanny dealy, because he's been trying to silently as he can fix the comm systems, because ever since he sent out that little ping to blow up some of the mines, a lot of the communication back to base is starting to sound a little scrambled and scraggly, and he's not sure if it's the rocks or if it's what he did with the system, because he was pretty sure it was the blue button, but so he we're having intermittent communication.
That is terrifying.
And as he's trying to be like he out of the corner of his eye, he sees all these like little swarm, and at first he thinks it's a thing of TIE fighters, and he's like, oh wait, no, we haven't requested any air support, right? No. And he'll just lean over to Zayd and go, hey Zayd, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this on your sensors as well? And just like presses the button for him, which probably takes him off, because that's not his job.
Smacking her, and then stop as I look at it, like, oh shit. Yeah, rock dragons. They really don't like they don't like walkers for some reason. I don't know. They like to dive bomb us.
Rock what?
Rock dragons.
Oh. And Private Crayburn is remembering this from his data pad briefing that he had on his drop ship
Big
down.
flying animals. They could probably eat you if you want to, but they don't seem to care about people on foot. They just don't like walkers.
Nice. And as you're explaining all of that, a few rocks kind of slam into the top, as evidently these rock dragons will pick up rocks and drop them on you. Patang, patang. So you should probably do something about these rock dragons. What are you guys doing? And I could directly, but I'm kind of curious. Neff, how do you want to organize this? There we go. You're the ranking person, not an officer.
Well, I think it's hard for Neff to make any forward movement at all because she's spending so much time trying to like recalibrate her balance after like getting nudged by these dragons in the rocks. So we're kind of sitting ducks right now. So I'm gonna kind of bump Zaid like we gotta clear some of these out.
Yeah. Here, been meaning to try out the twin lasers too. So I'm gonna.
Yep, that makes sense. And you're very intelligent to say that this has an increased firing arc because you can spin them up and take a shot. So you will have successes on 3 through 6. How many dice are you committing to this?
2 has served me pretty well so far. Oh, hey, 2 successes.
Nice. So you fire up into the air and take down 2 of the rock dragons.
Yeah.
They were flying together, one slightly larger than the other, and those 2 fall down. There is just one left, and what it does is it lands on top. And as you guys, he had the thing slightly open, it like reaches in, and its little clawed, kind of winged hand type appendage is like reaching in towards to try to grab one of you guys and pull you out. Who wants to react to that?
I think Private Crayburn is in the best position because perhaps these rock dragons are used to there only being 2 people in the ATST, and so they're reaching for the front of the cockpit, trying to get that squishy part inside the rock. And I grab my actual. I reach around towards Neff's blaster, it's a real blaster, and just point it up and start shooting wildly out the top of the hatch towards where I hope that the rock dragon is.
You're looking for 4, 5s, or 6s. Go. How many dice are you throwing in here?
And I can throw a complication dice in with that. It's just
you've earned it. It's. I mean, right. I don't know why I represented them differently on the character keeper, but yeah.
I'll throw. What's our danger is 2.
Yes, you
need. I'll just re-roll these 3 khaki dice. Here we go.
Re-roll the 3 khaki. Where are you seeing khaki? I don't
see khaki. So that's 2 misses and 1 success.
Ooh, cool. Okay, so what that means is that because you have taken out the persistence, you successfully drive off the rock dragons. However, you missed by 1, right? You needed to have as many successes as the intensity of the thing. So there's a complication. And yeah, I think that the rock dragon grabbed either Neff or Zaid. Now, because this thing says roll to randomly pick, I'm going to roll percentile because why not? Funky dice. There we go. D100. And so we'll go with highest rank is the highest number. So 51 through 100 is Neff, and you will lose 2 dice. And if it's low, then it is Zaid. It is low, Zaid. You lose 2 dice. You are clawed. It grabbed hold of you before Crayburn drove it off by shooting it a couple times, and it flies away. It is not dead. It got hurt. He squealed in this like warbling, high-pitched scream, but then
it probably like slammed me against the wall as it was pulling away. Just like
nice, and there's like blood just dripping down your gray your gray jumpsuit there. It does not look good. That hurt.
Oh yeah, this is why I hate these things.
Damn it, Sade! I told you weren't going to be able to leave this battalion that easy. You're not going AWOL on me now. One hell of a prison break you've arranged.
Yeah, I'll have to leave the door a little wider open next time so it can actually pull me out. Damn
I
it.
think Crayburn is still in the hatch shooting and this. Yeah, don't come back.
So I'm going to grab the blaster and be like, first of all, never, ever touch my blaster. Second of all, good shooting, Private. Tell me, you ever operated these twin laser cannons?
I'm
starting
only in a training simulator.
Starting to gallop the walker, trying to chase after this pterodactyl. I'm like, well, what did I tell you about training simulators?
That they're simulators?
Well, time for the real thing. Try not to hit Zade. At least not his arms. He needs those.
Harsh. Zade, you're already being replaced right in front of you. Man.
Yeah, but I did just get clawed and slammed into the wall, so I'm kind of just step back and wave him over, yeah, ow.
Cool.
And when my head stops spinning, I'll take it back over.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Love it. Awesome. So you guys continue on. Everyone gets one die back. If you want to narrate that's you getting some Bacta out of the med kit and healing yourself up a little bit, that's totally cool with me. You guys are moving along the base of the mountain, at the foothills. Your sensors are telling you, Private Crayburn, that you guys are a quarter of a click away from the mine itself. And as you guys are moving along, there is amid the craggy slope of this main mountain. I should have named this mountain. I think what is a good name for this mountain? So we're gonna call it no, that's terrible. I'm looking at some Star Warsy names and the names are bad. Yeah, we'll call it Kel Peak. So Khel Peak. Kel Peak. You start getting peppered with blaster fire as there are some people among the rocks that are thinking that will allow them to either stay invisible to you or that the rocks will protect them. And Neff, as you glance over to get a visual, you see that one of them has what looks like an RPG, like a rocket-propelled thermal detonator. And it's starting to, they've loaded it and they're starting to pull it down. This will be another intensity 2. And their persistence is a 4 as you guys are getting ambushed. Heavy ordnance.
Quick question, Rich.
Yeah.
Can we restore past 8 dice, or is that the max?
That's what you start with. You can go up past it. There's no rule. I didn't see anything that said you can only get to that. It's just what you start with. So I say go to 9 dice if you want. You've been very lucky. You got a lot of dice.
So, yeah, my first instinct is definitely flight, and I think that I get into this headspace where it's me and the walker are one, but unfortunately we're not necessarily making a very tactical retreat. It's just, oh, crabs, and then moving. So while it's not necessarily a very organized retreat or movement, it's very in sync.
Nice.
I'm hoping. So,
yeah, so you kind of skitter step away and try to move her in this drunken tauntaun in a way that they would not anticipate to dodge this first.
Yeah. Serpentine.
I love it. How many dice are you throwing in?
I'm going to roll a total of 4.
It does not feel like a silence mode, amphibious, or replace gun fit here. So you are looking for a 4, 5, or 6. You're rolling 4 dice. And this is intensity 2. So you really want to have 2 successes, friend.
I did not. I got 1 success and 3 failures.
Am I in the same role for your party room as you guys are? I don't think I am.
Fully Q something? Am I in the different one?
It's
I'm
okay.
an awfully quality Gannet.
Oh, I'm an honestly illiterate yak. That's what I'm saying. I thought mine just wasn't loading.
You're in the one that I linked at the top, and for some reason,
I think I went with the email one.
Yeah, the email one was different.
I went from the one that was in the
Let's all go to one. Yak. Please, everybody jump in honestly literate yak. And I'm sorry for the email screw up. I've forgotten that I did a roll for your party and then went and made a new one and put the cool map in the background. So
yeah, I was like, I see the cool map, so this must be the right one. It's just not loading, right? Just not showing me other people's dice.
I think it's an ATST in the other one, right?
I should have known there's always a cool something on the roll.
I trust you guys on your rolls. So just switch over to the honestly literate yak and we're good to
all
go.
Successes.
All right, now Rich jumps to the email. You said
I was in there. It wasn't a success.
No, it was 1 success only, and 3 failures. So not great.
Oh goodness, that's going to knock your persistence down by 1. But the good news is that you fail. Oh, wait, that's not good news. You don't get XP. It's just a thing. Cool. So, yeah, what does that look like? You don't pull off this maneuver in time. And that rocket-propelled thermal detonator comes up and smacks you guys in the side. So you get hit on the right-hand side because you guys are coming up. I can't remember starboard and port, but I thought it was like port is 4 letters, so left is 4 letters and starboard is on the right, but I don't know. You're hit on the right-hand side. I've rolled randomly because you're missing by 1 success. Crew member Private Crayburn, you must immediately devise a complication for the walker with the normal rules. However, you do not gain a die for doing so.
Let's see. We've got intermittent communication. Oh, okay. So it's like it's a fragmentation kind of weapon, right? And so it explodes, and hopefully, if we get out of this, I'll be able to unstick it. But one of those shards of the metal gets stuck in our gimbal. And so we can't really turn the head anymore, and we're slightly off center.
Ooh, that's nasty. That's going to put a lot of work on you, Neff. As you see, your servos are down. She could turn a little bit, but yeah, you're gonna have to rotate the body around to be able to get a firing arc for poor Zaid. It rocks. Your ears ring, Crayburn, for a few moments. Zaid, Neff, you guys are probably going to suffer from tinnitus if you ever live long enough to muster out.
I've already got a little bit of hearing loss. I think everyone has to yell at Neff. This has happened before.
Yeah. So you guys just got shellacked by this. I mean, it's not a thing that's going to take your walker down, but it put a hurting on her. The drunken tauntaun now has a stiff neck. Zaid, what are you doing? So Bethany, you want to take an action?
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I can't move the head all that well anymore, but I'm gonna try to swivel as far as I can and shoot them.
Cool. I had said you was on the starboard side, so your cannon actually helps you out here. Luckily, it was not damaged by that complication.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the gun is going to work to your benefits. I don't think this complication, like you're trying to work around it, and you do have a gun that allows you to do so. So we're talking 3s through. You've got 3 persistence on these guys as they're starting to scatter now as the walker kind of angles his leg and pivots for you to take a shot. How many dice do you want to
They
use?
still have 3 persistence?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, they started with 4, and you only took down 1 of their persistence.
I'm going to use 4 dice.
All right. Good luck.
2 success. Wait, no, 3 is a success too. 3 successes.
Nice. You're gonna waste these guys. What does that look like? Do you use the main cannons once Neff gets you around, or is it a thing where you just use that special gun and have perfect firing? I'm really curious.
Yeah, I think it's they're hiding behind rocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they think they know some things about ATSTs, like from what angles they can shoot, and they're wrong about this one. So they think we're safe, until we've turned, and we're obviously having trouble turning the right way, and they don't dive out of the way in time.
Nice. And so you rain hell down on them. You knock out several of them. A few run away. You take out it was a Zabrak who had that RPG, and you blast him before he reloads it. And they scatter, duck down. You see a little cave mouth that a couple of them run off in, and they are gone. She's hurting, the old drunken tauntaun, but you guys got a mission here. Just over this last little rise is where the cave is, or not the cave, but the mine. Of course, I'm curious. Pilot Neff, what do you do?
I think I just take a second to open up the top hatch and kind of just lean out and take a breather. And I've got a death stick that I'm shakily smoking on, hearing the screams of my melting co-pilot from before, and just try to steady myself before we go on.
You hear crackling over the radio. It is not coming in on a military band, Private Crayburn. And the message that you hear is Imperial Walker. This is Higlark Tony. I am from the security forces for Skyrung Manufacturing. You are near the ore mine that I am protecting. We are in the process of evacuating this area, and I beg you to give us 1 hour to finish evacuation. If you do so, the security forces will not be here.
I think, Crayburn is listening on this conversation and trying to figure out if the rest of the crew heard it on their comms and double checks the patch. No. Just leans over to Zaid. Hey, Zaid,
Yeah.
I think we really need to check on that gimbal. I remember in the training academy that we were able to unstick it. If I just spent some time outside the walk, do you think you could get Neff to agree?
Well, she doesn't seem to be in any hurry. I look up as she's standing there smoking.
Up a hatch, like, are you up top? Because I love that. That's awesome.
So I just yell up, like, hey, Craven's going to try to fix it.
You got 15. I've got like my blaster now up on there, just like.
I might need a little more time than that, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, okay.
Is there any mechanic for removing complications?
That's a great question. So here's what we will say. I think I am going to set it at here we go. A persistence. This will be your last. So let me ask you this: is your plan to basically waste this hour, try to give them that time?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. Then I'll set a persistence of 4 with intensity of 1, and you can just roll dice, and if so, you can remove that complication. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. So let's see. Yeah, I think. I'm trying to think how many dice to throw at this, because I'm the only one who can throw dice at it, right?
You can ask for help.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. All right. So I'll throw 4 at it to begin with.
Okay.
And I'm yellow. Oh, 1 success.
Okay. The good news is that I set the intensity so low that as long as you don't roll 0 successes, it just takes up time.
Right. But now I'm down to 4 dice.
Yeah, you are. I mean, I'm not going to make you lose any dice, but I think from a narrative standpoint, it's just, it's either real hard or you're getting a little frantic. Here's one thing that I will say. Neff, you see a Lambda class shuttle take off, you see it, and then it zips off through the atmosphere. It came from the mine, like it was like a quarter of a kilometer away from you. Someone took off from the mine and left the mine that you were supposed to secure.
So I try to pick up the comms, but they're just like crackling.
Yeah.
Say,
yep.
Crap. I just go back up to my post, like, hurry it up down there, Crayburn. We ain't got all day.
One of my arms is just covered in grease. And I'm like, I'm trying.
There's a literal scene in one of those take movies where they had rolled over and somehow between the tread and the gears, there was this beam, and the pilot climbed underneath as they're being fired on, takes a hammer. It's just like hammering at it, trying to knock the beam through so they can get out. I was like, that's insane. So back to you, Crayburn. You gonna go for it again?
Yeah, I'll throw 3 dice at this, and hope that I can do something with it.
All right, good luck.
Oh, it's just 1 more success.
1 more success. Oh man, you are exhausted.
I only have 1 die left.
You only have 1 die left. I think you're kind of freaking out at this point. Right? Because you can't fix this gimbal. As you are holding the safety of these people, maybe. Like,
I think here I'm hammering on stuff and moving stuff and trying to climb down. Like, what's taking you so long?
Well, there's a lot more shrapnel in the gimbal than I thought. See this bearing right here? It's sheared off.
You can see that there's some other shrapnel that Craven's removed and kind of tossed aside. But there's one particular piece that kind of sheared off, and you can see why it's sticking, and he just doesn't have enough like muscles plus like tools to actually unwedge that thing. By the way, Zaid and Craven, as you guys are outside, you can hear the 511th is on their way. Like you can hear them marching.
Crayburn, you worthless pile of slag. If the 511 sees our ass, I'm going to never forgive you.
I climb up and start looking for something to pry this stuff out.
You have that fancy tool from home?
Nah, the thing's useless.
Oh!
You know how when you go off to do something and somebody gives you something that like that seems appropriate to them, but they just clearly don't understand what you're gonna do? That's what this was.
Oh, okay.
Like it's, you know, it's probably great for hanging pictures and stuff.
That's awesome.
But it would also be good for prying, shrapnel out of things. That had not occurred to me.
That's awesome. Cool.
I think at this point, Crayburn's just pointing at where the shrapnel, where Zayd needs to pull it out and trying to like get all of this grease off of him.
Yeah, I see it. Hold on, let me see if I can find something to get to it. Would there be any? I don't know, anything around that I could use? Maybe not. Maybe I just like look for it and then okay. How is he doing it? All right.
You got a grenade launcher, but I don't think that'll help.
And I just like try to pull it out of the hands.
Cool. Yeah, you pry it out with your hands, and maybe like the two of you working together have enough of an oomph for you to be able to roll some dice. And then if you get 2 successes, you guys are going to avoid the notice of the 511th and complete this mission.
Okay, I'll spend 3.
Okay, not a bad choice.
A 4, 3, and a 6.
4, 3, and a 6. So that is 2 successes. Finally, you pull that piece of shrapnel out of the gimbal, drops, falls to the mud, and the two of you guys clamber up into the cockpit. Pilot Neff, you see she's the tauntaun. She can turn her neck, and you guys start moving forward, lumbering down. You come over that little rise, and you see that the mine is evacuated. You see also that there's some stuff that they've left. You see there are quarters. There are people who like lived on site, as it were, and really anything more other than making sure that these turrets aren't operable. If there are people inside, the 511th can take care of that. So as you guys settle in, do you want to blast out those turrets, or are you okay leaving them as long as they appear to be unmanned, leaving them operational?
I turned to Crayburn and like, you want to use these guns? Here's target practice. It's not a simulation.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah. And, take out those.
Crayburn just like reaches over with his greased up hands and grabs the firing stick and just shoots his path all the way around, but not actually hitting the turret. Just totally biffs it. Probably just as Duke is coming around the edge of the canyon or whatever to see.
Oh, Kark, they're gonna think I did that.
Oh, that's perfect.
Duke will never let you live that one down.
Cool. So you guys secure the mine. You've completed your mission. The 511th come in. We're kind of near into session here for our stars and wishes, but you find out that this mine was evacuated, but they did take some valuable ore with them, along with all of the populace. That you guys were too late. Neff, you saw that Lambda class shuttle take off. You're not sure if they saw it or not. Is this a thing that you report during your debrief? Because they are asking why did these guys get out of here?
when we hear there were turrets, we didn't want to face them without the main gun. The little twin laser cannons probably wouldn't have been able to get through their armor. So, made a judgment call, Sergeant.
And I think Staff Sergeant Leandra Therinos will tell you. All right. I'll let Modi know.
We're doomed.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. And with that moment, you guys, and you're reporting back on base. So you guys are on base. You can shower up. You can heal up. Back to all that good stuff. You still got some minor bits of damage and shrapnel to the gimbal and the starboard side of her, but the Drunken Tauntaun will be ready to go next week when you go on your next mission. I'll just tell you ahead of time, it is support the troop invasion of Cyward. Cool. So, first of all, thanks. Thanks for giving this game a go. I thought this was an interesting system. And I'm sorry about the two different roll for your party links. Remember, Rich, check your own emails before
Not a
you
big
set
deal.
up a do. not a huge deal, but it was like, dang it. Cool. So, because there's no XP or advancement system in this game, we will just progress on to stars and wishes. But in the wishes, definitely, if you have any debrief about this aspect, I wish that this was less confusing about the system, or if we knew about why type thing, it would help me in figuring out how many dice to roll. That kind of stuff would be very helpful for me. Also, first of all, I really liked your characters. I thought these were interesting, and I all came from different angles of things. I love the history of why you guys, each of you, are part of the Empire. This is a person who, as I told you, mainlined a bunch of tank movies and watched a lot of military movies. This felt lived in. You had a very Full Metal Jacket meets Fury kind of vibe, and I loved that about it. Really, really liked it a lot. Who'd like to go first for stars and wishes?
Stars for Greg for just starting out with somebody's hazing my character. This is and he's totally falling for it. I was
That was
a good. I just got it started, got it rolling so quick.
Yeah, that was awesome. Really big star. So you get a couple stars and a wish. Did you have anything else?
I mean, obviously stars for you for writing this. I had never heard of this game before, and I mean, obviously I haven't seen the original game, but it seems like a good fit, I guess. And integrating our obstacles in a way that made sense in the mission, and in fun ways. Oh, you wanted a minefield, pterodactyls in an ambush? Sure, no problem. Let's do that and make it fun.
It was. I was like, yeah, this is crazy. I love it. That's really cool. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Some people feel a little put on the spot of making their own complication or obstacles, and you guys are awesome at that. Any wishes that you had?
No, I don't. I think I'm more the same.
Good, cool, awesome. Then who'd like to go next, Michael or Greg?
I've got some queued up.
Cool.
Definitely want to give a star to Bethany for the rock dragons. That was so exciting, and really made it that took it to Star Wars territory. We were definitely in tank territory, and then pterodactyls right, Star Wars, sick, awesome, cool. I also want to give a star to Greg for having Crayburn like being very earnest, but like also like being a little um secretive in some ways. Like he didn't say anything about, oh, maybe I messed up that radio, and he didn't. He made that like that personal choice to like maybe jeopardize the mission, and that was really cool. I was ready for you, Rich, to like say like, ooh, you that hour gave them time to prepare like this big like defensive force, and they were just stalling so that they could bring out their main gun or something like that. So that tension was really cool.
Good.
But I'm also looking forward to seeing like what the what ripples may come from that. So some of my wishes would be definitely to have like a little like confrontation with Crayburn and saying like, if we could kind of spool that out a little bit. I'd like to know a little bit more about people's history too, like definitely like Zayd, like, what are you in for kind of conversation would be fun to see. And like my big wish is like for some moral dilemma that really pushes us to say like, am I going to do the Empire's bidding or not? So that's what I'm looking forward to. That's my wishes.
Good. Thank you. Those are good wishes. Thank you very much, Michael. Greg, bring us home. What stars and wishes did you have?
Big start on Michael for the death stick, just as we barely survived the ambush that probably would have taken out your last gunner, and a big star to Bethany for the whole, well, you can shoot the gun if you really want to. And then letting me totally get you in trouble with the with Duke coming around the corner and being like, Zayd can't even shoot. That was fun. As far as wishes, I think my main one we'll definitely get to next time, which is I really want to get one of these obstacles that has a high intensity and a high persistence, something that can really endanger our characters. Because I think that'll be interesting. Let's see. Yeah, I guess kind of a wish was I kind of wanted to. Yeah.
I was just going to say, if you had gone forward, your final obstacle was going to be the Lambda class shuttle.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wish that Private Crayburn had, died. I don't know. It's just, it's a war movie. So, a TPK is my wish. No.
Okay. No, that's I appreciate you bringing that kind of stuff up. That's definitely a thing to know that's on the table is helpful.
I think I would like to see us all lean into complications more. We didn't do any role with a complication. I wanted to do that, and I would have done it. Had that transmission not come across, I'm like, well, Crayburn would probably go for this, because I wanted to do something like calling in the TIE bomber. I wanted to see that at some point, but I'm sure in the next one we can get to that.
Good. This is very helpful.
One more wish to throw out there.
Yeah,
I want to see an opportunity to do the vacuum seal submarine.
Oh, so yes, have both absolutely.
A tank movie and a submarine movie, like in one.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's great. Yeah. All right. Note to self. So amphibious needs to come to the fore. I remember back in the way back day when I was playing BattleTech, and one person set up their mech in a lake, basically just like half standing up so that they could cool down their heat sinks, and they just laid waste. It was terrifying. And I'm like, yeah, an ATST that's like comes walking out of the briny deep. Oh man, that's pretty cool. Sweet. Thank you guys so much. I know it's a little bit on the early side. Hopefully you don't mind. This was great. I applaud you all for playing interesting characters and making them remarkable, and also people that you want to pull for. Right? This is good. So we will continue on and finish things up next week, and I can't wait to see you all again. So we will go ahead and bring this recording to a close.